welcome to another episode of Renshi Ranks. In this episode, I'm going to be ranking my top 10 Pixar films. I have seen pretty much all of the Pixar movies up until now, so I'm pretty excited to share my favorite ones with you guys. I really hope you guys enjoy this video, so let's get into my favorite Pixar movies. The last movie on my list is Luca. Luca just came out in 2021 and is set in Italy. It follows a young boy, Alberto, who's actually a sea monster and is prevented from entering the human world on land. Of course, he doesn't quite follow the rules and decides to go exploring. The movie seems to teach a moral of challenging yourself to do hard things and learning to make friends even though you're different. When I originally saw the trailer for this movie, I actually wasn't really interested at all. I thought it looked a bit too silly and childish, but since I've seen every other Pixar movie that's ever come out, I had to at least give this one a chance. And I'm glad I did, because this was a really sweet, interesting story. The animation's a little different from most Pixar movies, but it's still really beautiful and pretty charming. If you haven't seen this movie yet, it's definitely worth a watch. Number 9 on my Pixar list is Soul. This is a beautiful movie that came out in 2020 and is set in New York City. The story focuses on a jazz pianist who's trying his best to make it as a musician. That character is played by the very talented Jamie Foxx. This movie is animated fantastically and offers some very deep meaning to it. The main character, Joe, ends up having a near-death experience, landing himself in a hospital for a while. His soul was then sent to an in-between place with a bunch of other souls. The film then follows Joe trying to make his way back to Earth so that he can perform in a musical event. There he meets an additional soul that is trying to find their way as well. They end up connecting on a friend level and going through some hurdles throughout the movie. Some morals I discovered watching this are to follow your dreams and navigate life in meaningful ways. There's also some comical reliefs to this movie, and it's really entertaining to watch. I encourage you to check this movie out if you haven't seen it yet. Number 8 is Finding Nemo. I have probably seen this movie close to 100 times. The animation is so smooth and flawless, especially for its time. It came out in 2003 and of course is set in the ocean. Throughout the movie you follow Merlin, who is an overprotective clownfish daddy who runs into the infamous Dory, played by Ellen DeGeneres. Together they try to find Merlin's son, the cute little Nemo. Nemo disobeyed his dad by going near a boat and was unfortunately caught by a scuba diver and put into a fish tank.
Oh, my stomach. Oh,
man. Hey, no hurling on the shell, dude, okay? Just waxed it.
And of course, there's a lot of complicated encounters along the way, and it makes for a very fun and entertaining movie. All the characters introduced in this film are super fun, and I enjoy watching it over and over again. Number 7 is Monsters, Inc. This movie came out in 2001 and is set in a monster world. I actually went to see this in theaters when I was little and fell in love. Monsters, Inc. is a pretty cool comedy film about monsters working in a scare factory and collecting screams from scaring children in the human world. The main character, Sully, is the top scarer. Eventually, a little human girl ends up in the monster world and Sully is trying to help her get back through her bedroom door for most of the movie. However, monsters in this world are terrified of human children. That makes it way more entertaining to watch. The little girl Boo shows that she is strong for her age and teaches the monsters that you don't have to be scary.
Feet, scary feet. Oh, the kid's awake. Okay, scary feet, scary feet, scary feet, scary feet, scary. Kids asleep. Twins and a bunk bed.
This is a very touching story that you should watch if you haven't seen it yet. The Incredibles is coming in at number 6. This nicely animated movie came out in 2004 and is set in a fictional city called Metroville. This movie is about 2 superheroes that got married and had 3 children. They were trying to leave their superhero lives behind to raise a normal family. That doesn't quite go as planned when Mr. Incredible discovered he was needed to help save the world again. He's still wanting to be a hero, even though he may have gotten out of shape and has a family now. They discover that their children had powers as well. The parents didn't like the idea of their children using their powers, but eventually the superhero family comes together with their superpowers to save their dad and the world. There are some pretty funny moments in this movie involving the baby Jack that I've always enjoyed. This is a super cool movie that eventually got a sequel in 2018. Of course, it wasn't as great as the first one, but both of them are definitely worth watching. The fifth Pixar movie is Wally. Wally was made in 2008 and is set on Earth. This futuristic story follows a cute little robot left on Earth that is spending his time collecting garbage. This movie also sheds some light on the facts that Earth could end up like this if we don't do something about pollution, and side effects of not recycling or simply just not taking care of the planet. Eventually, an obviously newer model robot named Eve is spotted scanning things on Earth, and he is intrigued. After following the shinier robot, Wally ends up finding himself on a ship, where the rest of the story takes place. This is definitely a great movie to watch, and Wally is just adorable. Of course, like most Pixar movies, the animation is top-notch. If you haven't seen it, it's absolutely something that you should see. My next Pixar movie is Up. Up was released in 2009 and is a favorite Pixar choice to many. This movie shows a lot of honesty and optimism throughout. The main character, Carl, is an elderly man who recently lost his wife, so he spends his time trying to fulfill their lifelong dream to visit a special location. His plan gets a little messy when a young boy knocks on his door and ends up tagging along with him throughout the rest of the film.
Sheik. Speak.
Hi there.
Did that dog just say hi there?
Oh, yes.
Bruh!
My name is Doug. I have just met you, and I love you. My master made me this collar. He is a good and smart master, and he made me this collar so that I may talk. Squirrel! My master is good and smart.
The young boy named Russell offers a lot of comedic relief to the movie and makes up for a really fun, loving film for any age group. The young boy teaches Carl to love life again. This movie also has amazing music and cute character designs, so if you haven't somehow seen this movie, I hope you decide to watch it after seeing this. The movie Coco is number 3 on my Pixar movie list. This movie was released in 2017 and is set in Mexico. This is one of the more colorful and fun movies that Pixar has to offer. It's about a 12-year-old boy named Miguel who is struggling with his family's ban on music. This is especially hard for Miguel because he wants to be a musician. The movie centers around Miguel's love for music and him trying to pursue his dream despite his family's opinion. After getting involved with his musical dream, the main character ends up in the land of the dead, where he tries to figure out more behind his family's ban on music and their history. Overall, it is a beautiful movie and absolutely worth watching more than once. The music and art style are especially beautiful, so if you haven't yet, I think you should check it out. Number 2 is none other than Toy Story. I'm sure you've probably seen at least one of the Toy Story movies. However, this only covers the first Toy Story. I know there were a couple of sequels, but I'm only focusing on Toy Story 1, which was filmed in 1995 and set in San Francisco. This classic Pixar movie is about toys actually coming to life, when humans aren't paying attention. Woody is a cowboy doll that belongs to a boy named Andy. The movie makes it clear that Woody is Andy's number 1 favorite toy, and when Andy gets a new toy named Buzz Lightyear, Woody feels jealous and wants to get rid of Buzz. Unfortunately, the new toy ends up in danger, and Woody is accused of causing it. So he decides to go save the new toy, and the rest of the movie focuses more on Buzz and Woody working together to eventually become friends.
This is great! Oh! I'm saved! I'm saved! Andy will find you here. He'll take us back to the room, and then you can tell everyone that this was all just a big mistake. Huh? Right? Buddy?
I just want you to know that even though you tried to terminate me, revenge is not an idea we promote on my planet.
Oh, well, that's good.
This was one of Pixar's first feature-length animations. There's so much more adventure and funny scenes in this movie as well. I think you should try to watch this Toy Story if you haven't yet, because I don't think you'll be disappointed. And finally, my number one pick for Pixar movies is A Bug's Life, which was released in 1998. I know this is not the most popular Pixar movie, and it's not the first that people think of when they think of Pixar, but to me, Bug's Life is a very important and classic Pixar animated film. It's definitely unique. I was a bit of a weird kid growing up, and I really liked bugs for some reason. I still think that insects are pretty cool to learn about today. Anyways, A Bug's Life is about an ant colony set in a place called Ant Island. It may not be the greatest animation, but it sure looks pretty amazing for its time. The ants are animated to look more cute and charming. In fact, I love the way they designed most of the insect characters. The main character is Flick, who is a little ant that likes to invent things, even though his inventions don't always go as planned.
Oh, another invention?
Yeah, and I've got something for you, too.
Flick!
Since you're gonna be queen soon, you could use this to oversee production. Dr. Flora, if I may.
Oh, this is all very nice, but...
Just an ordinary blade of grass and a bead of dew, right?
Flick, please.
Wrong. It is, in fact, a telescope.
It's very clever, Flick.
Hello,
but
princess. My, aren't you looking lovely this morning?
In this movie, ants are bullied by grasshoppers. The ants are forced to give the food they collect to the grasshoppers every year, but this year, Flick accidentally destroys the food offering with one of his inventions, which causes a lot of trouble for all of the ants. This leads Flick to try to fix the problem by going to search for help. While traveling, he finds warrior bugs who end up really being circus bugs. This makes for a pretty comical and fun story. All the characters are super lovable and help make the movie more amusing. If you haven't seen this awesome movie, it's currently streaming on Disney+. This movie really needs to be brought back into the spotlight a little bit because it's just so good.
Oh no! I'm lost! Where's the line? It just went away! What do I do? Help!
And that wraps it up for my top 10 Pixar movies. I really hope you enjoyed this ranking, and if you think I missed one, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to click that thumbs up button and subscribe to support me making more ranking videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.